property has been historically significant and important to people in Las Vegas Valley for thousands of years. I mean, literally thousands of years. It was the water that came up from the floor of the desert that brought life to this part of Las Vegas in an otherwise really hot and very dry place. But then the town started to grow because this was a good place for jobs, more people. Land was sold in 1905 to create the original town site of Las Vegas, and it has exploded to a modern Las Vegas that we see today.
A city that too quickly outgrew and drained dry the natural but finite supply of water that had flowed from the springs for millennia. But the spirit of this gathering place remained with its reminders of what had been lost and what might still be found here if the preserved property could be saved from further urban development.
As Las Vegas grew and that need for conservation grew, people started thinking about this site. At one time, before Highway 95 was finished up, that was actually slated to go through some of this property. Because of the importance of the property, the early significance, the historical and archaeological importance, this property was placed on the National Register of Historic Places and preserved.
As plans for the property emerged, we knew we wanted to embrace our natural surroundings with an architectural style that would be praised for its sustainability and beauty.
The LEED certification really speaks to what the entire Springs Preserve is all about: leadership and energy and environmental design. And we happen to be fortunate to have LEED certified platinum, which is the highest rating that you can get from the United States Green Building Council. So when this place was envisioned, it wasn't just envisioned as a nice park-like setting, but it had message built into every single square foot that they put in here.
And over the decade the Springs Preserve has been in existence, we've filled the property with memorable messages and relevant events for learners of all ages.
We have 30,000 school kids that come through here every year as part of our free school program. And these are our future environmental stewards and our leaders. The Springs Preserve provides a safe place for teachers to bring their students where they can explore, learn about nature, learn about water conservation while having a great time in an outdoor environment. It's so important for the community that people like the Rogers Family Foundation thought it was so important. They gave us a generous grant to help expand our teaching garden, which will allow us to bring more schools and more teachers here, along with our regular visitors, to learn about gardening in one of the hottest, driest parts of North America.
During our impressive history, we've been careful to grow not just for the sake of growing, but naturally and organically in keeping with the traditional yet changing needs of the preserve and its people.
The Springs Preserve has been evolving since the day it opened. 10 years ago is a lot of time, and for an institution like this, at 10 years it's really time to take a look at and change things. Fortunately for us, we have been changing along the way. So every couple of years something new has come online. One of the most popular things for our visitors in the last couple of years has been our butterfly habitat.
And we'll have several more equally popular attractions coming online in time to celebrate our 10th birthday.
So we're finishing a facility called Boomtown 1905, which will allow people to really roll back in time more than 100 years, get on our trackless train, drop people off at the train station, and they'll be able to experience, especially if they come here in the summer, what it was like living in Las Vegas.
We'll also be revealing what a remarkable feat it is to pump water uphill, far and wide across a thirsty desert community.
The Waterworks exhibit that's opening later in the year will really showcase how difficult it is to get water from Lake Mead and distribute it throughout this incredibly large valley. And that was through a partnership with the One Drop Foundation and support from the Royal Bank of Canada's Blue Water Fund.
We've also added a little water to the restored springs and creek that will once again be places to play, contemplate, and appreciate what's enduring about the preserve.
We've expanded our trail system out here and put in some more amenities. We have bikes that you can rent, we have trails that you can walk, so we have some more stopovers that talk about the early history, a couple of shaded spots, we've got some water in there, a very cool picnic place that we're calling Cottonwood Grove, which will let people experience what a lot of people did in the early 1900s was go down by the creek that was a result of the springs that flowed in a nice cool environment in the shade and hang out during the summertime.
And make every new visit a rebirth of ancient springs rituals that have natural and communal and eternal appeal for generation after generation.
My biggest hope is that people walk away with a feeling of ownership the Springs Preserve belongs to all of us. And through our community efforts, that people will maintain very high hopes for a successful and sustainable future for Las Vegas.